Warner retired from the longer formats of the game earlier in 2024. The seasoned Australia batter David Warner is aiming for a spectacular finish on his final lap as an international player, saying that Aussies will play fearless cricket during the 2024 ICC T20 World Cup to create a unique piece of history. The veteran opener also feels Australia may not need him for the 2025 Champions Trophy. Warner announced his retirement from the longer formats of the game, and he left the door open for a possible return to the next major ICC event if the men in yellow require an opening batter. Australia may not need me, David Warner, on playing 2025 Champions Trophy. Warner retired from the longer formats of the game earlier in 2024. Asian News International updated, 31st May 2024, 9:05 p.m. IST. Read time, 3 minutes. Australia may not need me, David Warner, on playing 2025 Champions Trophy. File image of David Warner, copyright symbol Instagram. Port of Spain. The seasoned Australia batter David Warner is aiming for a spectacular finish on his final lap as an international player, saying that Aussies will play fearless cricket during the 2024 ICC T20 World Cup to create a unique piece of history. The veteran opener also feels Australia may not need him for the 2025 Champions Trophy. Warner announced his retirement from the longer formats of the game, and he left the door open for a possible return to the next major ICC event if the men in yellow require an opening batter. Plain mute. Full screen. Although he announced his retirement from the longer formats of the game, he left the door ajar for a potential return to the next major ICC event, should the men in yellow need an opening batter. After winning the World Test Championship and One-Day World Cup in the previous 12 months, Australia is aiming for cricket's Grand Slam at the T20 World Cup, which has been enlarged to 20 nations. It will be played in the West Indies and the United States throughout June, with all of Australia's matches taking place in the Caribbean. The 37-year-old Warner is one of just 4 players with a chance of becoming the first team to win 3 International Cricket Council trophies at the same time, alongside Pat Cummins, Mitchell Starc, and Travis Head. Being part of that potential history, you only sit back and reflect on those things when you're completely done and dusted, Warner, who is in Trinidad, said as quoted by the Sydney Morning Herald. I did an interview with the ICC recently asking me about it and all the tournaments I've been a part of, and I can't remember them all, but it's been great, he added. However, he continues to indicate that it may not be the end, citing the ICC's revived Champions Trophy, a mini-World Cup slated for Pakistan next year. They may not need me, he added with a laugh. Warner was unable to complete this year's Indian Premier League, IPL, due to injury in his left hand but demonstrated his fitness with 54 from 21 balls in a practice match against Namibia in Trinidad last week. However, he will not play until Australia's first match against Oman in Barbados on Thursday. His farewell from the big stage has been quite a trip. Australia defeated India in India to win the ODI World Cup in November. He said goodbye to the conventional game at the Sydney Test in January, and he will most likely say goodbye to T20 internationals in the Caribbean. Whenever the star batter does go, Warner is bound to go out all guns blazing against any team face. We've always played fearless, and I think that's why we've been so successful over the last few years. We don't care about our spot in a team, we just care about doing the best that we can and making sure that whatever we're doing, we're trying to be that match winner, he said. And the fortunate thing is that we've got so many of them. One might come off one day, the next day someone else will come off. So we just know that one person in that top 6, if they can get anywhere between 60 to 80 runs at a good strike rate, we know we're always going to post a good total. It's the same with the new ball. If Mitchell Starc, is swinging the ball, we'll get early wickets, and that brings the spinners into the game, he added. Warner believes Australia's emphatic World Cup victory over India late last year, followed by a great performance against South Africa in the semi-final, has given them an upper edge over other teams. If you look at the way that we performed with our backs up against the wall after the first couple of games, losing badly to India and South Africa, you just never count us out, he said.